Today we're going to take a look at the Lenovo Tab M10. Now this comes in 16 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes. It has a 10.1 inch screen at 1280 by 800 resolution, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and this is the 32 gigabyte version. This has the Snapdragon 429 quad-core processor, and the operating system is Android 9.0. It's also got dual front-facing speakers, dual band Wi-Fi, and battery size on this one is 4850 milliamp hours. I don't know if you've looked on the Lenovo website, but it's super confusing trying to figure out the differences between their tablets. And I'll leave a link in the description below with current pricing and more information. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we've got. Unfortunately, this one is micro USB. You would think it would be USB-C by now. Charging brick. Ejection tool for SIM card or micro SD card. Warranty information. And quick start guide. Okay, so this thing is actually pretty lightweight. You can see there along the top or side, depending on how you're holding it, is the front-facing speakers. It has a smart connector there on the bottom, which I believe you can actually connect to the speaker that the Smart Tab has. You've got the power and volume buttons there along the top. You've got a front-facing camera, rear-facing camera, and then along the bottom you've got a headphone jack, charging port, and SIM card or SD card slot. The weird thing is you've got a larger bezel here along the top and bottom if you're holding this in landscape mode. Now when setting this up, you've got face recognition plus pattern, PIN, or password for the screen lock. You can also do gesture mode or classic mode. While the screen on this thing is super cheap, I think I've already got a scratch on here and I haven't even used it yet. So they call this the Tab M10 HD. To me it doesn't look as clear as some of the other tablets I've looked at. It looks like it's using about 30% of storage so far, or 9.54 gigabytes of the 32 gigabytes of storage. Okay, so the camera's not horrible on this tablet, but it's not that great either. I would call it acceptable, but you definitely don't want to use this over your cell phone. Now the front-facing camera isn't really that great either, but at least the color is a little more accurate, where the rear-facing camera seems a little bit faded to me. Apple Pencil alternative for the rear-facing camera and microphones. It's a really large lip, so you're not going to have to worry about anything hitting the screen. And here's an idea of how bright the screen gets. Stand as flash drive, but you can also use it for a mouse, keyboard, external hard drive, and how dark the screen gets. So if you're looking for an Apple Pencil, so after testing the Tab M10, I've got to say that I definitely like the form factor of this tablet. It's thin, lightweight, and has a good aspect ratio for watching movies or TV shows. The front-facing speakers are definitely a good idea, although I feel they could be a little bit louder. Gaming on this tablet is okay for some games, but definitely struggles with others. Asphalt 9 was pretty choppy, but games like PUBG surprisingly played pretty decent even though it was on the lowest setting. Same thing when I was testing out Call of Duty Mobile. It played surprisingly good when using my Xbox One controller. Now the tablet does feel a little bit slower than some of the other ones I've used, even when just switching between apps or waiting for the tablet to boot up, which I guess is expected for the Snapdragon 429 processor. Battery life on this was actually pretty comparable to the Galaxy Tab A 10.1, and it lasted right around 5.5 hours of streaming video at 100% brightness, although when streaming the Fire TV app, it did seem to struggle at times. I couldn't figure out if it was just my internet at that time, or if it was the tablet itself. Then it took around 3 hours to charge back up, which seems to be pretty slow for a battery this size. Now the cameras on this are not really that great, but I have a feeling most people don't use tablet cameras that often. I feel the biggest downside to this tablet is the resolution of the screen. It does okay for most things like watching movies or playing games, but anything that has a lot of text, or even when looking at icons on the home screen, it just doesn't look clear enough in my opinion. It would be tough to choose this over something like the Fire HD 10 or the Galaxy Tab A 10.1, especially with some holiday sales still going on right now. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.